I was really sad the other day when the Sims team didn't do anything for or even acknowledge the Sims 4's 10th birthday? Yeah, I'm kind of eating my words today. I will admit that I was being a little bit dramatic about that, and they did just post a roadmap detailing literally everything coming to the Sims 4 for the next 3 months. They literally announced an expansion pack with a release date in this roadmap, so it's kind of a big deal. So in this video, we're gonna look through everything they just posted together and kind of walk through all of this big Sims news. I was literally in the middle of a build when I saw this, and I dropped everything so we could record about it. So let's take a look at this. And first and foremost, they changed their Twitter header and their profile picture. It now says "to be continued," and I don't know if we can read into this too much. It's just a bunch of moon symbols. For a little bit of context, they post these quarterly teasers, or roadmaps they call them now, around every 3 months, and they typically detail literally everything coming to The Sims 4 in that next season. They usually make a whole show of it, calling it a new season of The Sims. They'll change all of their profile pictures and their banners and all of that stuff, and they're typically kind of vague. It might say like, hey, we're getting 2 new kits, a couple of updates, and 1 expansion pack, and then we try to read into what those things might be based on like some little hints they might have left in the teaser. But in this case, it was a little bit more specific. I actually haven't watched this video yet, so we'll watch it back together. It starts off with a reading for the season, and it's kind of got this like tarot card theme, and they immediately go straight in to Artist Studio Kit and Storybook Nursery Kit coming on September 9th. These are 2 things that I have been literally begging for. When I talk about the kind of kits that I want, I always say I'd love to have a nursery theme or like some kind of baby theme, because we got infants, but we don't have that much stuff for infants or that much furniture for infants. So the idea of a nursery kit is really exciting to me. And then you add the storybook word in front of it, and I'm obsessed. I've also said multiple times in the past how I would love to have an artist theme kit with like more easels, more canvases, just more decorations to make an art studio. So these are both immediately really intriguing to me. And to be clear, I'm not trying to say it was like my idea. I just mean like I, along with a lot of the community, have been talking about wanting this sort of thing. So it sort of feels like they're hearing our requests and they're responding to them with both of these releases. There is a slight problem in that it comes out on September 19th, and I'm gonna be at TwitchCon on September 19th. So I don't really know what that's gonna mean for us exactly. I don't even know if I physically can record a video about them from my laptop at TwitchCon, so we'll see how that goes. I might have to wait until I'm back to make reviews on these ones, and I am really sorry about that. I think that's the first time that I've been actively away during a pack release and like unable to make a video on a new pack, so I'm kind of sad about that, but they sound like things I'm gonna really like, so I have that to look forward to when I get home. And then if we unpause again, the next thing says Reaper's Rewards Event, September 24th. So this seems like it's gonna be similar to the original daily login rewards event they did, but they're calling it a Reaper's Rewards Event. So is it like daily login rewards themed after the Grim Reaper? I don't really know what to expect from that. I had some kind of conflicting opinions about the original login event. The main one being that the file was stored locally. So say you got a new computer, if you forgot to back up that file and bring it to your new computer, you would lose access to all of the items that you unlocked. And I would say the average simmer probably has no idea how to do that, if they even know that they need to do that. Because you wouldn't assume that that's the case. You'd think it'd be like tied to your account or something. And I love the idea of free content. I respect the desire to reward active Sims players. I just don't like that people can miss out, and I really don't like how you can lose it completely if you forget to back it up. But it's been a couple of months since the last login event, so maybe they've been able to fix it a little bit. I'm curious to see what happens with this one. And that, thankfully, starts when I am back from TwitchCon, so I won't miss out on any daily login rewards, thankfully. And then if we unpause again, this is where it gets really big, because they just come outright and say, Life and Death expansion pack, first look October 3rd. I don't know if they've ever announced a trailer this early? I feel like they usually announce the trailers like right before the trailer comes out. So to announce that a trailer is coming a full month in advance is kind of unusual for them, but I'm not mad about that. So obviously that leak from earlier was true. The pack is called Life and Death. And I guess that makes more sense about how it leaked because they were prepping to announce it. So the news was kind of out there. I know that some people might think they dropped this because of the leak, but I really don't think that's the case. They would have been planning this announcement for a long long time. They don't like throw these things together. At least I don't think they do, but this looks like it would have taken a lot of time and planning. And we all knew that we were due for a new quarterly teaser soon. The last one went up until the end of August, so this one coming out in the beginning of September is kind of standard. But it is interesting how there's more information in this one than usual. I mean, maybe that's just the plan going forward, is to be more forthcoming about it, because they even go on to say that the launch is October 31st. So they just fully announced the trailer and the launch date all at once. I love the idea of a Halloween release for this death-themed pack. When it leaked the other day, I kind of got to thinking about how it might come out in October because it had already leaked, and also like it's kind of a Halloween-y theme. I did not expect it to launch on Halloween, and I think that's really fun. I think we're all gonna have a really fun Halloween weekend playing with the pack, so I'm excited about it. I always do like a big Halloween party stream on my Twitch channel, and now we have plenty of reason to do a really big Halloween party stream. Oh, we could have a whole launch party in costume for the pack. Okay, I'll start shopping for some Sims themed costumes, maybe like a Grim Reaper sort of thing. We'll get prepared. As far as this life and death theme goes, I don't really know what to expect out of that. I do really like the idea of a death themed pack, which sounds really bad, but I keep calling myself a connoisseur of death in The Sims as a joke. So this kind of feels right up my alley. And believe it or not, there was like a survey or something that went out a long time ago, like multiple years ago, about a Grim Reaper career. So I don't know if that's what this is, but that seems like it might fit in, and they did ask people about that a while back. So it's not completely impossible. Actually, even with Snowy Escape, they had a survey a long time ago about like winter sports, and then we ended up getting Snowy Escape years down the line. So it's not completely impossible that that might be true and it might be a Grim Reaper career. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts on that are. Like, what do you think this pack would come with? I actually went back and found it so I can show you. This was one of the options when we did the community voted stuff pack that ended up becoming Nifty Knitting. One of the things that people could have voted for that didn't end up winning was a Happy Haunts themed pack. A couple of options for gameplay could have been maybe like a ghost hunter freelance career. Well, we got that, didn't we? A seance table and spirit board, we got that too. Even a haunted house lot trait. We kind of got all of those things in the paranormal stuff pack. But there's also listed here a psychic freelancer career and a Grim Reaper freelancer career. So I'm kind of wondering if they're gonna pull those two ideas from that original concept and then put them in this pack. That's kind of what happened with Eco Lifestyle as well. Way back with the Laundry Day stuff pack vote, they had a couple of options that ended up becoming things that came in Eco Lifestyle. And I think that makes sense. I mean, they had these good ideas back then and they had the community vote on them. And even if those things didn't win first place, there was still a large portion of the community that wanted those things. So I think it's a good idea to keep those thoughts and plans in the back of their minds and then bring them back in a future pack that makes more sense. So yeah, we didn't end up getting this death themed stuff pack. We got a haunted house stuff pack instead, but there are still a couple of cool ideas that might work well for this new life and death expansion pack. So I'm sorry, I called it a survey. It was not a survey. In fact, it was a fully community voted stuff pack. You know how I always say my two favorite parts of a new Sims packs are woohoo spots and death types? This pack being called life and death is actually kind of funny. So maybe it'll have both. It has to at least have another death type, right? Maybe like a funeral party or something. It's kind of vague. I feel like life and death could mean anything. So I'm really excited to hear more about that. I'm gonna unpause again and just see if anything else happens. I'm not really sure because I haven't seen the full thing. Oh, and free updates. It just says and free updates. Okay, well that's fun. I'm glad about that. To be continued, September to December. I'm really curious about what this to be continued thing means as well. Like, I don't really understand how that relates to the life and death pack. And this takes us to the end of the year. So this year we're gonna have 2 more kits, the expansion pack, and then whatever the free updates end up being. They actually posted a blog post with a little bit more detail. It's kind of like the same thing, just written out instead of being in the video. So they said, give your little new boo a sophisticated start with the Storybook Nursery Kit, or build an inspiring retreat to help your Sims creativity flow with the Artist Studio Kit. Both of those release on September 19th. And then it says, help Grim out and earn free items in the Reaper's Rewards event coming to the base game September 24th. Keep an eye out for more info that'll be shared in the days ahead. That makes sense. And then they said, speaking of Grimm, the fan favorite hooded figure will make an appearance in the Life and Death expansion pack. Get a first look on October 3rd and embark on an endless journey through life and beyond, with the pack releasing this Halloween on October 31st. Interesting. They also said, settle in with a warm cup of cocoa and enjoy a tarot card reading that takes a peek at what's next. So that makes me wonder if they're going to be adding tarot cards to the new expansion pack. I want to watch this again and try to read into things that they have in the background. I don't know if that's me being unreasonable, but I'm like, there's hot chocolate and marshmallows. There's a candle. Does that mean we're getting a new candle? I don't know if that's me being ridiculous or if they're actually telling us something. I want to look at the tarot cards a little bit more too, because I wonder if this means anything as far as The Sims goes. This is the thing. I unfortunately don't know a lot about tarot cards. I know a lot about The Sims though. And like this one's just a cow plant. This one is the Grim Reaper. He's got like butterflies and the death flower. This is interesting. It looks like this is maybe some different environments. I feel like this is kind of similar to the Vampire's World. There's like a crater thing. Does that have Strangerville energy? Like, does this look like maybe Sulani? I don't think that this can be read into, right? I don't know. I swear in the past they have left things that we can read into, so that's why I'm doing this. I want to show you the last one real quick, just to give you an example. This one said, let love in. Sorry, the quality's bad. This is a Facebook link, believe it or not. But you see how in this one, they didn't outright say the names of the kits, but they teased the Riviera Retreat kit and the Cozy Bistro kit. In hindsight, that is very obvious. We did not know that at the time though. We did not know what these things really meant at the time. And they have these little icons. There's like some glasses right there. And when you look back on this now, you can see how all these buildings were kind of teasing the theme of the Lovestruck world. We have like the fountain and the little food cart and stuff like that even. And there's like a little phone with a heart symbol, kind of meaning online dating. There's even a swimsuit down here because we got that massive swimsuit recolor update. So that does kind of make you look at this and think like, are any of these tarot cards trying to hint at any of the updates? Or is it just related to the pack? Is it related to the kits? I mean, I don't know. I'm really curious to hear what your thoughts are in the comments. What do you think? Do they mean anything? It's almost like they were more blatant about names and dates, but less obvious about hints. And maybe that's intentional because when they hint at stuff too much, it does kind of lead to a frenzy. It's like they give us a hint and then we take it and run with it, but it might end up being wrong. So if they just give us outright names and dates, we can't really run with it as much. Whenever I think about what the pack might entail, I feel like everything I come up with just has to do with death and not really the life part. Obviously, maybe some sort of Grim Reaper career like we talked about, maybe a funeral event type, kind of like wedding stories, but you can plan a funeral and then select different traditions. I was thinking maybe some sort of ghost overhaul or a bunch of improvements to ghosts in general. They specifically mentioned after death, and that just kind of screams ghost to me. Ghosts also don't really have a lot of special stuff for them as a cult, so it might be kind of cool to have more for ghosts to do. Like, you can't even make a ghost in CAS if you wanted to, so it might be kind of cool if they added stuff like that. I would love a skill tree of like ghost perk points, kind of like how vampires have, but I don't know if they would actually do that. I would love an actual graveyard lot to bring my Sims to because I always play legacy challenges, so I always have a ton of graves. And then I make fake graveyards and just call them a park or something, but I would love to have a real graveyard. There's also this tarot card theme, so I'm sure that they'll probably bring something like that into real gameplay. I don't know if it would be like a career or if maybe it's just a skill that you can do. I'm not really sure what to expect. We had a fortune teller career in The Sims 3 from Supernatural. There was actually also a part-time cemetery worker career in The Sims 3, but I don't know if they'll bring that back to The Sims 4. Also, obviously, there has to be at least a couple new death types, right? They can't make a death pack and then not add new death types. But all of those things that I'm thinking of have to do with death and not the life part. So I guess I just don't really know what they would do. It's hard to imagine what the theme of the pack is when all we have is a name. And they've been teasing so much about the Grim Reaper that I'm kind of leaning towards the death aspect. So if you have any other ideas, let me know in the comments down below. Well, I've got all those dates on my calendar now. I am thrilled about this. They still haven't posted a birthday post for The Sims 4. I know some people thought they wouldn't post an official birthday post until the 5th because the global launch of The Sims 4 was on the 5th. Looking back on previous years, they have done it for different days depending on the year. So in my mind, as long as they post something this week, I think that's fine again, kind of celebrating the launch week. But I don't really understand why they didn't just post like happy birthday Sims 4. I love the roadmap, don't get me wrong. But still, am I ridiculous for expecting like them to do something to actually celebrate the anniversary? 10 years is a big deal. Announcing a bunch of paid content does not really feel like an appropriate celebration. Obviously, they did announce an update. We just don't really know what it means yet. So anyway, I'll stop complaining. I really did not expect an expansion pack announcement today. That completely took me off guard, but I am not mad. I'm sorry if this video is like all over the place because I feel all over the place right now. There's so much going on. Let's speculate in the comments though, because I'm curious to hear your thoughts. And make sure you're subscribed here to my YouTube channel because as soon as there is more news, I will let you know. We'll play all the packs, I'll review them all, and we'll probably have early access at some point in October to the new expansion pack, so stay tuned for that. I just don't know when yet because they haven't said, but we'll find out. And with that, I'm gonna go and I will catch you all tomorrow. Okay? Bye everybody. Here I was worried that the expansion pack trailer would come out during TwitchCon, and then instead they're releasing 2 packs while I'm gone. That's like worst case scenario.